Hello, everybody. My name is Lorenzo Pagnotta, and I am with the Inspire Awards. And today I am here with Tracy Aaron Smith from Solo Theater. She is one of our LGBTQ plus Positive Business of the Year nominees. And in her category, we also have Ashley from Single and Eligible. We have Dennis from Your Friend with a Cube Van. We have Pretty Ricky from East King Productions, and Mika Styles from Mika Styles Wig World, whom we hope to see and interview in the future. It's been one of those weeks, and businesses are slowly starting to, open up, and it's been a challenge to get everyone here together, which we understand and we recognize, of course. I'm a business owner myself, and it's definitely trying times. But we are happy that we can chat with Tracy for a few minutes today. And of course, our event is postponed due to COVID-19. And so we will hopefully be able to celebrate our 10th year anniversary next May 14th. And we do have a little sneak peek meet and greet virtual event on September 18th, where we can meet a lot more of our nominees in other categories. So I was chatting with Tracy a little earlier about how I've been following her work for a number of years. And so I'll let Tracy kind of tell us a little bit about what she does and maybe highlight some of her recent projects for us.
Amazing. Thanks, Lorenzo. It's so good to see your smiling face. And it's truly an honor to have Solo Theater nominated for this award. I'm very, very excited. Okay, so Solo Theater is a process that I developed in 2002 when I was an instructor at Ryerson University in Toronto. And it helps people from all walks of life take the raw material from the stories of their life and transform it using a process I call theatrical alchemy into a one-man, a one-woman, or a one non-binary show that they can then share with the public, with solo grads, people who've been through the process before, and family. And so the process culminates in a public show where they get to perform their life story or part of their life. And it's extremely moving and hilarious. And, I really believe that every single person has learned a very important secret about life, and we all need to hear that secret.
I love it. And I definitely get that sense when I tune into your work and your posts and your creative drop-ins that you've been doing online. And you've worked with so many communities and different people and helping them tell their story, which is so inspiring to us.
Thank you. It started with about, I would say 5 or 6 years ago, I had an idea to bring together clergy from different religions. I thought, what if we could bring together, clergy from different religions and have them share their personal stories, almost like a peek behind the robe, like open the robe and talk about what it's really like to do that. And so that show was called The Clergy Project. And from there, I went on to do a show that was Women of Color. I worked with an Indigenous group, and that show, the Women of Color show, was called This is Black, like This Is Us, but they chose This is Black. And the Indigenous show was in first person. And then more recently, some of my work has been turned into a TV series, which sort of blew my mind and is very exciting. And that's Drag Heels, right? Spelled drag, Heals. Amazing. And I think it's the first non-competitive drag TV show because our slogan is no eliminations, only celebrations. And we start with 8 contestants, 8 performers, participants, and they go through the whole process, and then they do a big show at the end. And my thinking was, and that's when we were just working with drag queens. And season 2 is different. But in the first show, I was watching drag queens on stage, and I was like, God, they're so amazing. And they have everyone's full attention. What if they shared their own stories? Like, it's not easy to get people's attention. So what if they took advantage of the fact that they're so magical to look at and then shared their own stories? So that was the premise of Drag Heels. And it was just an incredible, moving experience to hear their coming out stories, how some of them, their drag personas basically saved their lives and gave them hope.
Wow.
And in season 2, which opens October 1st on Out TV and Amazon Prime, I was like, I'll do another season, but I want it to be drag kings, drag queens, drag things, drag clowns, and everything in between. So this season has every gender on the spectrum and participants from 19 to mid 80s.
Okay.
It
So
was
exciting. I'm so
wild.
glad it's coming back. So I did get to catch Drag Heels on Amazon Prime, and yeah, it was great. You know what? I love the idea of celebrating, not eliminating. That's a really big part of the awards, and that's why everyone's a recipient, not a winner, because we've all done amazing.
Oh, that's
It's hard to
perfect.
pick one
Exactly.
person.
Yeah, exactly. How can you pick a winner? Everyone is so different and has such a different and unique offering.
Yeah, exactly. And there's so many inspiring people in our community. Um, on that note, what would you say? You probably have so many sources of inspiration around you with your work. What would you say inspires you the most, or maybe right now in life?
I would say what inspires me the most is a person who has never stood in front of a crowd before, reaching down into their guts, into their heart, and finding the courage, the bravery that it takes to share a piece of their soul, a piece of their heart, standing alone in the spotlight in front of a group. That every person I work with becomes my hero, because what they're doing takes huge guts, and I watch them grow. So that's very rewarding.
Amazing. As you were talking, I remembered that you did a show with one of our lifetime recipients, I believe, Savoy Howe, telling the story of News Girls, which is great. So it's all in the family.
All in the family. Oh, her show was so gorgeous. I co-created it with her and directed it. And I had the idea, let's not do it in a theater, let's do it in her boxing ring. So we had, each night 150 people watching her, and they were able to give back to her because she's given so much to the community. That's why she received that award. And they were able to love on her and listen to her story. It was amazing.
Yes, spectacular. Um, a little more of a serious question. Well, perhaps. What do you think that we can do better as a community? Maybe there's an approach or an area or an idea that you can share.
Lorenzo, the first thing that comes to mind is integration. And I think that was part of my vision with bringing kings and queens together and drag clowns, like all different forms of expression. Because I was sort of noticing in the drag world that the queens were over there, and then the kings were having a little bit of a harder time getting the same exposure over here. And I thought, what if these two amazing communities, integrated and met each other? And so the bonds that formed in that group, when we sort of brought all this diversity within our hugely diverse community together, right before my eyes, these strangers formed a beautiful community. So it showed me that it can work, that if we just get to know people that are slightly different from us, even within this community, it enriches your life.
Mm. That's beautiful. I mean, I was listening to the People of the Year nominees video today, and same sentiments I'm hearing echoed again and again. Community, integration, intersectionality, enough with the division. We have to work together. We're only strong together. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And that really every story matters, and representation is so important. I taught I think it was Canada's first solo show workshop for transgender people, and to see them in the spotlight sharing their stories was just amazing. It helps everyone. There's an expression that the minority knows everything about the majority, but the majority knows nothing about the minority. So the more we can put people who are in the minority in the spotlight,
Mm,
the more empathy and compassion people have, because they have a better understanding of what their journeys are like.
mm. I love that. That's great. What would you, or why would you say it's important to celebrate others?
That is such a great question. I think that's what I've been doing my whole career. Okay, this is how I would answer that. So I'm a solo performer. I have performed 5 or 6 full-length solo shows that I wrote. Now that's a thrill. It's a lot of work, but it's also a thrill. When I teach a class of 8 people, I get to watch that 8 times. Like in some ways, it's very, I wouldn't say selfish, but I get as much out of it as they do. Like, why just celebrate my own success when I can watch the fireworks go off 8 times and also be a part of that? I just feel everybody wins. And when you do something like this in a group, the camaraderie and the deep cheerleading that people give to each other, and when people are crying, telling their stories, and all of a sudden these people who were strangers have now become deep confidants. It's game changing. I love it.
Creates a domino effect. Yeah, that's great hearing perspective. It really boosts. Yeah. I think it inspires others to also rise up and do what they love and what makes them happy. That's amazing. Yeah, and that was echoed earlier in the Person of the Year nominee series as well. Sometimes it's just nice to also take a break from all the work and to just celebrate our own work, and that's okay. We don't have to feel guilty about it, and it's nice to hear that from someone who's creating that solo work with people in a theatrical setting. Would you like to share any last words, or maybe even plug something you're doing? I'll give you the stage.
That's so great. I mean, I already mentioned that the 2nd season of Drag Heels is starting. There's another documentary you can watch about drag kings called She's the Man, which is basically my drag king workshop dude for a day on camera.
Okay.
And I'm going to keep teaching. Since COVID hit in March, I've taught 4 full-length courses online through Zoom. And I really didn't know if it would work. And the bonding between classmates and the final shows have the exact same feel as they had in person, which is amazing. So if people are interested, like you, Lorenzo, in telling more of your own story, because I know you've done one-man show, but in maybe going deeper or further, or you've lived 7 years since then. So if people want to work with me, they can just go to solo.ca or find me at Tracy Aaron Smith on Facebook and reach out. I love to talk to people about what I do, and I love hearing people's stories. That's my life's work. So that's what I would plug. If people are watching this and you're thinking, maybe I should do that, you should. That's how I feel.
Amazing. That's great. Yeah, and I can attest to the amazing work that you do, having seen a lot of your productions. And you make Zoom easy. Like, there's something about Tracy that just makes Zoom a welcoming place, which some of us have struggled with. So thank you for that, in addition to doing amazing stuff for our community. And thank you for taking time today. I know your schedule's busy and you're on the go and you're doing lots of courses and lots of stuff, so lots of projects. So we really do appreciate it. And thank you for inspiring our community. And we hope to see you soon in person, or at least virtually at an event.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lorenzo, for this beautiful conversation. I really appreciate it.
No problem. You take care. You stay safe.
Thank you. You too.